the holiday season is treating you all well so far. My name is Matthew and welcome to the Watch Wrap. This is a channel where I'll be discussing things like watch news, watch trends, and other watch enthusiast-centered topics. So today we're going to be discussing a situation regarding a brand called Oris. I'm sure many of you have heard of this brand. It's a brand that was founded in 1904. It's a brand that is mostly known as an entry-level brand, situated around like the lower thousands price point. So they make a lot of dress earpieces. There's also sports watches like their Aquas line, for example. And I would say one thing that I know them for, I would say they're like, if you had to ask me about a summary of the brand, I would say that it's like the first brand that when you try on their bracelets, it doesn't rip a hair out of your wrist on every single wear like a Seiko or a G-Shock would, for example. So Oris recently released a new in-house movement called Oris Caliber 400. And in-house movements are kind of like all the craze nowadays. Every brand seems to be coming out with an in-house movement with allegedly better performance. And this movement actually does advertise a 5-day power reserve, so that's a benefit over like a regular Solita movement, which the brand would usually use in their Oris Aquas models. However, they recently released a brand new Oris Aquas model called the Oris Aquas Date Caliber 400, and it's currently having some issues right now. Recently, an up-and-coming watch YouTuber, Engineer Wannabe, bought one of the new model with the new Caliber 400 movement in it, and he noticed a couple of experience-ruining issues with the watch that he got. The movement has hacking seconds, which you would think would be really good for watch accuracy. I mean, you can set the time to the exact second, and you push the crown back in, and boom, you have essentially as close to perfect accuracy as you can get with a mechanical wristwatch. However, this particular movement, for some reason, keeps having this weird issue where when you pull the crown out to the last position to hack the movement, the minute hand sometimes jumps like 1 to 5 minutes, and that's a pretty extreme difference. And then when you push it back in, it can go forward by 1 minute, 4 minutes, anywhere in that range. So it pretty much makes it impossible to actually set the time accurately. The next problem that Engineer Wannabe encountered was that the 5-day power reserve was essentially a lie. I mean, he had it at full wind and it only went for 3.5 days, which is a pretty big concern. I mean, power reserve is a pretty simple thing to do. All you gotta do is have a spring in the watch, the mainspring big enough, and have the frequency of the balance wheel to be consistent enough to be able to gauge what the power reserve is. How long is the watch going to run if you wind it fully and leave it on a table? And basically, when he reached out to Oris North America about this, even though it might not seem like as bad of a problem as the minute jumping issue, their response is the problem. They basically blamed him for not winding the watch properly. So, this guy is an adult, mind you. He knows how to wind a watch correctly. And they basically told him that he doesn't know how to wind a watch correctly, and that, basically, we did some research and we think that you just didn't wind the watch. Okay, so interesting customer service experience there with Oris. It turns out they ended up trying to return the watch. I mean, I haven't seen a video of him concluding this, but he said that he was going to try to return the watch last I saw anything about it on his channel. So not very good customer experience there. There is another YouTuber named Bruce Williams that was able to sort of remedy the issue with the minute jumping. And it's just kind of like ridiculous rocket science, scientific method theories that you have to, try to hash out. It's just completely unnecessary, and it's honestly, in my opinion, it's a failure of a movement. And also, Bruce Williams was able to get the 5-day power reserve. He was actually able to get, I think, maybe 7 days, but he had to do like 300 full rotations of the crown to wind the watch. And apparently, the rotor in the movement, I mean, you guys can pretty much consider this to be a manual wind movement, because both of the wearers report that they've worn the watch, and if the rotor is supposed to be pretty heavy, so I mean it's supposed to be winding the watch. So the fact that they're unable to successfully achieve the power reserve on a full manual wind is pretty upsetting. I think this kind of goes to show you that, in-house movements aren't inherently a superior option to third-party movements like ETA and Sellita movements. I mean, unless there's like really, really good decoration, which on the new Oris caliber is not really, really good decoration. It's not unbelievably amazing, like I'm drooling over it. Like, it's just a basic looking movement, but it has Oris on it, and it was designed by Oris. So it's not exactly much of a benefit, and of course, with ETA and Sellita movements, you pretty much never have to worry about bizarre issues like the power reserve being much less than expected, or having to wind it 500 gazillion times, or anything like that. So I'm actually going to give you guys some recommendations that are much better in terms of the value for money that you're getting, because this $3,500 watch on a bracelet, $3,300 on a rubber, definitely not a very good value considering these issues. So the most obvious alternative for the new caliber 400 Aquis is literally the predecessor, which is actually the Oris Aquis Date 43.5 millimeters. It's got that same case shape pretty much, same size, same bracelet. It's sort of like an integrated bracelet, so it almost looks like the lugs on the watch are actually just another link on the bracelet. So even if you have like a smaller wrist, it will fit pretty well. And you have that for $2,200 on stainless steel bracelet and $2,000 on rubber. So pretty much the same watch with a non-defective movement, of course. And also you get that for much less than the $3,500 steel bracelet with the new in-house movement. Of course, also another great Sellita movement alternative that Oris offers is the titanium date. Which is really great. It's 43.5 millimeters as well. Not too much more expensive than the Sellita stainless steel model. $2,200 on rubber, $2,450 on steel bracelet. I think that's really good. Also, I noticed that titanium watches feel very good. Some people might say that it feels a little bit cheap, but also I think that there's like an undoubted sort of lightness to the watch that kind of gives it, like, in my opinion, more luxurious feel. And the last alternative, going a little bit outside the Oris brand, this is actually a Longines. It's a Longines Hydro Conquest. They have multiple colors available, and that's also another great thing about the Sellita movements, is that the Sellita movement Orises have a much greater variety, whereas there's only like one color dial and one color bezel for the new in-house movement Oris. The Hydro Conquest, that comes in at $1,600 on the rubber. Or steel, actually, so it's the same exact price, and it's got an ETA movement. So I feel like this is actually a watch from a much better brand, in my opinion, and a brand with much higher stature and much higher sort of history and heritage, and for a much better price than this new movement with this new watch that Oris put out, that seemed like it might have been rushed, or maybe not the best thought was put into the research and development process. It is worth noting that the Hydro Conquest is 41 millimeters, which is 2.5 millimeter difference in terms of the case diameter, but the lugs on the Hydro Conquest are a lot more pronounced, and I think it'll fit probably pretty close to the same of the Oris Aquis 43.5. So those are some alternatives. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do you guys kind of see where I'm coming from with this in-house movement, or is there something you'd like to add? Put a comment below, whether or not you agree, disagree. Do you have any of these new Oris Aquis caliber 400 models? Let me know how yours is going. Maybe it's just a quality control issue that just happened to have hit two up-and-coming watch YouTubers models. Maybe that could very well be the case, but let me know what you think. And if you like this video, of course, hit the like button. Please subscribe to see more of our upcoming videos. And of course, if you're really serious and you're not just friend zoning me, hit the bell icon so you get notifications when we drop new videos on this channel. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and take care.